Today we're going to make this hood. This is the blocked Anglo-Indian hood. Here at Timberwolf we have developed this hood ourselves. It is based on a normal Anglo-Indian hood, but it is made inside out and then blocked on one of our Rawlinson style blocks. These blocks are available from us. Every process in the making of this hood will be in this video. As you can see, we have lacquered the hood and we have dyed the hood, but all of that isn't necessary. Today we'll be making a falconry hood. The hood that we'll be making is a type known as the Anglo-Indian hood. It differs in a way. What we will be making is a blocked Anglo-Indian hood, in that it is a standard Anglo-Indian with inside stitching and then blocked on a hood block. The things we will be using are, of course, some hide. This particular hide is what's known as kip. It is 0.8 of 1 millimeter thick, very uniform, and exactly what we need for this type of hood. We'll be using very few tools. Most of the tools to make a hood you will find in and about the house. What we do need are, of course, some hide. It doesn't matter which way the hide is cut, because there is very little tensile strength needed in a falconry hood. So the hood will be made from kip today. It could also be made from goat or a reptile hide, but today we'll be using kip. Of course we will need a hood pattern, and the pattern we will be using today is for a male Harris hawk. The other tools that we will need are, of course, something to cut the leather. These are specific leather shears. For hooding needs, all you would need is a pair of sharp scissors. We will need dyes to dye the hood. You don't need to dye the hood. We just find that it makes for a much more attractive hood and can be customized to suit the customer. The colours we will be using today are an undercolour of oxblood, that is the first dye, and then on top of that we will be using a chocolate dye. This will give an antiqued oxblood effect. We will obviously need a hood block. This is one of our own. It is a male Harris hawk size. These blocks are extremely hard and they are cast by us in resin. The hood blocks can be obtained from us, of course, if you require them. As I said, they are extremely hard. Another tool that we will need to use today is a hole punch. As you can see, this is an adjustable hole punch. This is used for various things on the hood, for instance making the holes for the throat lash, etc. We will need a sharp knife. Generally we will use a scalpel blade, one for every hood. When we've made a hood we'll throw the scalpel blade away. You can of course use a Stanley knife. This is a disposable Stanley knife. The blades don't last very long. We do require very clean, sharp cuts, so as I've said, disposable Stanley blades are perfect for this. You will need a pen. We always use a black pen. We make as fine a line as possible, really so that only the person making the hood can see it and cut out sharply. We will need an awl to widen the holes to put the braces through. This is an awl which has a spreader lever which helps to widen the hole. Of course you don't need this. It just helps when you're making the hoods in volume. We will need a round punch. The size of this punch is 3/8 of an inch. This is the top round hole where we start the beak hole. The rest is cut with a Stanley knife. So again, you don't need a plethora of tools for this. We can supply the 3/8 size hole punch if you require. That's all of the tools. The incidentals we will need are clean water to soak the hood before it goes onto the block, and of course something to dry the hood while it's on the block, which gives it its distinctive shape. The ideal tool being of course a hairdryer. We will of course, as much as possible, work on the reverse side of the leather. When we're marking the leather out and when we're cutting, we'll cut on the reverse side. Purely and simply, if anything goes wrong, a scratch or a wrong line or something like that, it is on the unseen side. First of all, we've got to find the best place to put the pattern. I have already pre-cut a small piece of leather out here. I've checked the leather for any flaws. There isn't any flaws. You do need a clean bench, of course. So we'll put the leather and the hood pattern together. There's plenty of room on all sides. You do need an overlap for the dyeing process. So what we'll do now is draw around the hood pattern, sorry. As you can see, there is a very faint outline of the hood that we wish to make today. We will cut the line around here larger than the actual line that we've drawn. So to take the excess off, we'll leave about 1/4 inch all the way around. The reason for this will become apparent a little later. Now we've cut around the line with an excess of about 1/4 inch or 3 or 4 millimeters, whichever way you look at it. Now what we're going to do is dye the hood. First of all, we're going to dye the inside of the hood in a plain red colour. You could use one of these, it's a specific tool for dyeing. Of course you could use a simple paper towel. That is the inside of the hood dyed. Now we're looking to dye the outside of the hood. We only dye one colour on the inside, but as I said earlier, we will be using 2 on the outside. That is the red dye on the outside and the inside of the hood. Now we are looking to dye on top of the red a dark chocolate colour. Now this is best done with a piece of paper towel. So we want as little on as possible, and it's simply a matter of wiping a colour on top of the red, which gives a nice antiqued red, or antiqued red and brown, whichever way you look at it. That is the dyeing process complete. The hood is now damp. Now what we're going to do is cut out the line that we drew around the pattern. It's very faint, you won't be able to pick it up on the camera, but the reason we dye over the top of the line that we drew around is this. What we want are nice, clean, crisp edges to sew together. And if we'd cut around the line to start with, dye would have leached in the side and it would have just been a little untidy. So now we're going to cut out the hood proper. It's a simple process of cutting round the line that you've drawn. This should be extremely faint now, but you drew the line, you know where it is. And there we have the hood cut out. As you can see, the lines are nice and crisp, the angles are tight, and it's much more tidy kind of job if it is done this way. Now in the hood at this point, what we require is the beak hole, and we need the holes along the bottom of the throat for the throat lash. We need the slits in this part of the hood for the braces. We need 2 holes in the top for the plume, and we need another 3 holes in this part of the hood for the rest of the throat lash. So I'll go ahead and now punch out the holes that we require. The first hole we will take out is the beak hole. The point we would like the beak hole is midway between these 2 points and slightly below. It's simple to do by eye. I will mark it thus, and now I'll take out the first part of the beak hole. This is done with a 3/8 punch. And it's a simple task of punching the hole out. And there we have a clean round hole. On the back of the pattern now, what we'll need to do is draw the rest of the beak hole. About 5 millimeters up from the bottom of the throat, we will need to find a midway point that is it there. We will need a point 1.5 centimeters either side